Speak now to Steve Letsike, the Executive Director at Access Chapters 2. Steve, good afternoon to you. We were supposed to get a ruling today. It'll only be on Monday. Again now, these victims have to wait for justice. Are you optimistic that the people abused by Gerhard Ackerman, the people abused in so many ways, are going to actually get justice?
Yeah, no, thank you so much, and good afternoon to the viewers. Look, I remain optimistic because we do have a very strong constitution and legal framework. One of the most important things about the judgment that we are awaiting should really prioritize the victims and survivors of this, really ridiculous crime that has been committed. The trafficked persons are entitled to a full range of human rights, and even if they are outside the, different spaces, communities whatsoever, the international law, the South African law is clear that trafficked persons cannot be discriminated, cannot be isolated. They must get justice. And I think our own country, through the national plan that has prioritized persons, but that also wants to eliminate trafficking, it's really a very strong judgment that we are expecting. The perpetrators here, the accused here, must actually face the true might of the law in this case. We cannot tolerate any kind of trafficking, and particularly sexual trafficking for that matter.
One of the strange things around Ackerman, he still claims, he seems to have said it again today, that these teenagers were doing this of their own free will. a 14-year-old doing this knowing what it was. Can he really believe that?
You know what? Our law is very clear in terms of what is age of concern, even in terms of what has been constituted in terms of violating persons' rights, children's rights. You cannot force children for any kind of labor, and worse, sexual labor for that matter. Children may be trafficked for the purpose relating to their age, and in this case, a 14-year-old has been subjected, and many other have been subjected to sexual exploitation, various forms of labor and begging for that matter. We need to protect children of our country. We need to protect women. We need to protect anybody that should never be subjected to victimization. And there's no way perpetrators should get away because they want to claim that people have given concern, or they have done it out of their own will. They have played mind games, they have abused, they have violated, and they must face the music, and which is that law.
He was finding vulnerable boys. He was selling them to elder men. One of them was the senior advocate, Paul Kennedy. He committed suicide when this came out. An appropriate sentence is obviously jail, and jail for a long term if he's found guilty.
Look, it's appropriate that he must be found guilty. It's appropriate that he must be sentenced. And it's also appropriate to realize that there is absolutely elements that we must consider. People suffer. The victims, boys, girls, young women, and so forth, have suffered a gender-specific form of harmful practice, and consequences of this that involve forced abuse, rape, unwanted forced pregnancies, forced termination of pregnancies, and including advancing to some of the intersecting issues, including HIV and health risks associated. So really, to be honest with us, jail must be where he ends up, and for a longest time. We want harsh sentence. We want to demonstrate that the law and the rule of law must be observed in this country. We do not appreciate and tolerate any violation against anyone in this country.
And Steve, do you worry there could be more rings like this out there, abusing children, abusing girls and boys in this way? For money.
Look, I believe that as a country we have been working across the country, and it's also across our southern African region, where we have seen a violation, where the rule of law has been undermined, where the rights of children, the best interest of children, women, and even boys and young people have been undermined by many people, and particularly the perpetrators in toxic society. What we know is that we have been working as civil society. We have also been working with government, where we've seen a development of a strategy that actually say, one, deal with this organizing of traffickers, deal with those who use and abuse and violate people by distributing drugs, by selling drugs, by actually luring people into the space. We know and we believe these rings exist, but we must find them, identify them, and eliminate them. That's the position that our country must consistently, through the agencies of law authorities, they must take that into heart, and they must move to protect the borders, the society, and prevent any of this kind of trafficking happening in our society.
Steve Letsike, thank you, Executive Director at Access Chapter 2. Do appreciate the time this afternoon.